what's going on, Gravity? Welcome back. My name is Zeke Griffin. I'm the Norfolk Campus Student Director.
Yeah, good to be with you guys. Matt Love, Lynn Haven, Students Director here.
And as you may know, there is a lot going on in the world right now, and we wanted to stop and take some time to talk about it.
Yeah.
I actually made a video not too long ago and posted it out there to social media, just sharing my thoughts on everything. And I simply just want to get the message of the gospel across, bring unity, and point people to Christ, basically.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on with the conversations of racism, police brutality, Black Lives Matter, all of these different types of things, and we wanted to shed some light. And Zeke didn't actually make this video with the intention of showing it in Gravity.
No.
But I saw it and I was like, dude, we need to show this. And here's what you need to know about the video is this is not us saying you need to agree with everything Zeke says.
Yes, absolutely not.
Zeke is talking about his perspective, and I think in this season it's so important for us to kind of just shut up and listen, honestly, to other people's perspectives. And here's what another thing you need to know is I think Zeke's video is great, but here's the thing is I don't agree with everything he says.
And it's perfectly okay.
It's okay. We're still buddies, right?
Yeah.
Like we can still hang out, we can still have a conversation. And I think more people need to realize that even when we disagree on stuff, like the main thing is the gospel, right?
That's it.
It's all about Jesus. It's all about loving Him and loving others. And I think Zeke does a great job of highlighting that. And so we're going to come back here in just a moment and talk about some guidelines for how to have a good conversation about this. But for now, we want to just go straight to the video. And then we'll come back and unpack a little bit of it. So check this out.
All right. Okay. I have sat around and said nothing for quite too long, but more so because I haven't known what to say, think, feel, or do with everything going on in the world regarding racism right now. And the reasons for me not saying anything before was because I am afraid of losing friends. I am afraid of people looking at me differently because of what I'm getting ready to say. But my world, when it comes to racism, has been very different than what is being portrayed right now. Very, very different. And it goes all the way back to when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I was always, and this is all my entire life, I've always been surrounded by diverse settings, people of all ethnicities, and love. I have always been surrounded by a lot of love, and I am very, very grateful for it. And with what's going on in the world right now, I think that right now it's almost as if it's a, blacks versus cops type of thing. And let me say this, my experience with cops, ever since I've had one, and I've been pulled over multiple times, yes, I will admit that, but my experience has always been a pleasant one. Not one time did I ever feel scared, not one time did I ever feel nervous. If I was speeding, I was wrong. I admitted that. That's how that's been. And there was even one time where a cop actually had me get out of my car while it was raining because he didn't want to stand in the rain, and sat me in the front seat and let me just play with all the buttons that were in the car. My experience has been very different. I've grown up in diverse settings to where it was just okay. People were surrounded by love. And moving into today's world, I feel like it is a black versus cop thing, and I have to disagree with that. It's not. Now, that's not me saying that those cops, what they did is okay. No. That's wrong. All four of those cops need to be tried, sentenced, taken to jail, all of that. Plain and simple. That what they did is wrong. Period. And a lot of what all the other cops have done in all these situations that we're experiencing in racism has been wrong. Period. We know that. We see that. So what's the issue here? No, it's not blacks versus cops. That is not the case. This is a matter of issues of the heart. Because the only experience of racism that I have had hasn't been from cops. It's been from people who look at me differently because of who I date. That's where that's come from for me. Those aren't cops. Those are just random people looking at me differently as I'm walking with my girlfriend through the mall, or as we're sitting at a restaurant having dinner together. They're turning their noses up at us like, oh, this doesn't look right. That's been my experience, not cops. So to me, this is an issue of the heart, period. These are issues of the heart. Those cops that did these things, there's something inside of them that has been there since they were kids, because racism is something that's trained. Racism is something that's taught. Since you were a kid, your parent or the environment that you were in has led you to believe that someone who doesn't look like you is less than, is wrong, or doesn't belong in society. So you do this certain thing towards them whenever this situation comes up. That's what that is. That is an issue of the heart. This person has been trained that since they were kids, has been taught that since they were kids, and that's in their heart. That's something that's hard to get rid of. And this is the part that a lot of people don't want to hear. When certain situations like this happen, when certain moments of tragedy or big events happen that the world looks at differently, we don't want to hear the truth, which is Scripture. Dang it, Zeke, why did you say that? It's real. Like there a long time ago, I used to be in that same situation. When something tragic happened, the last thing I wanted to hear was someone throwing Scripture at me. Now, let me rephrase this real quick. This is not me throwing Scripture at you. This is me giving you the truth. Right? We are not fighting a battle of flesh on flesh. No. This is flesh versus spirit. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. That is an issue of the heart. Okay? And this is where I feel like we've just gotten it wrong. We've been battling we've been fighting this fight with the wrong tool. Like we've been using our voices. Perfect. I'm doing the same thing right now, but we've been using our voices without Christ in them, I feel like. And this is not for everybody. This is not saying every speech that I've ever watched has been this way. No. I'm saying, for me, you're not going to catch me out in the street protesting. You're not. I'm not going to go to some conference and sit there and hear a conversation on racism. I'm not. What am I going to do? I'm a student director, right? And I feel like every generation that has come before the generation that I'm teaching has gotten it wrong. I work with middle and high school students. Everyone that's come before them has gotten it wrong. And if anyone's going to get it right, it's them. So I am doing what I've been called to do. And that is to teach the next generation what love actually looks like. And love did not come in a color. Love came in the form of a person. So I am teaching people who Jesus really is. Jesus is love. God is love. And once people are able to grasp that and understand exactly what that looks like, what that means in their life, we are then able to make the right moves towards becoming a better world. That is my opinion. That is how I see things. And a lot of you may not agree with that. But this is what we've been doing, what I've seen with the whole the protests. Go do it. Go out. Be strong, be courageous, speak up for what you believe in. But when it comes to destroying things, that's not the move. That's not the move. These conversations that we have with each other, that should be the move. And those conversations need to be centered on love. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. That's Scripture. Two biggest commandments: love God, love your neighbor as you love yourself. It's there. If we can grasp that and actually understand what love is, then I feel like we can make some tremendous moves, because I feel like the word love in itself has been used way out of context. Oh, I love cereal. Oh, I love my car. No. Do you really understand what love actually means? I don't say the word a lot in life nowadays. I don't. I like cereal. I like my gummy bears, right? But when it comes to love, that is so very different. And I feel like once we start to understand what love actually looks like, then we can begin to change the hearts and minds of people. And even way back in Scripture, God intentionally had people's hearts hardened. Not so that they can see it, look at those people and be like, oh, I'm going to judge them, or look at those people and say they're wrong, but more so people can see who God really is in their lives. And that's what's happening right now. People need to see who God really is in the world today. And the only way they're going to do that is understanding what love actually looks like. And that's what we need to be teaching right now, what it looks like to love. You want me to come sit down and have some conversation that regards racism? Absolutely. But be ready to hear about Scripture, because that is where, and that is what we all need to be hearing right now in this moment. From the infants to the oldest, like everyone needs to understand what it looks like to actually love and who love really is. Again, I grew up differently. I am very, very different. A lot of people, I hear it all the time, tell me I'm black but I'm white at heart. What does that even mean? Is it because I don't act like you? Yes, even black people can show that side of them where it's just like, oh, I'm judging you because you're not black enough. No, that's not the case. I've been black my whole life. That doesn't make me any less of a man who is black. That's not the case. Like I just want to show love to everybody in the best way that I know how. And that's through working with students, sharing the gospel, being that guy that people enjoy to be around, right? It's just, I want everyone to feel included. I want everyone to feel like they are invited to the table. Everyone's invited to my party, always. That's it. It should never be a matter of, blacks versus cops or blacks versus whites. It's like, no, this is an issue of the heart. And once we start getting at what's in the heart, we will then begin to understand people's worldviews. We will begin to make connections. We will begin to grow together in love and transform the world. I am not saying in any way, shape, or form that what these cops did is okay. No, everything they have done is wrong. But I am saying that if we want to make everything right, we have to understand what love really is. We have to come to know Jesus himself, accept him, and then begin to change the world. Make disciples of all nations. And again, y'all may not want to hear that, but that's me. I'm not going to change who I am to fit your mold. You're not about to put me in a box. I've always been different and love exactly who I am, because I get to share this moment with you all in this way. So that's all I have to say about everything that's been going on. And just know I love you. You want to talk about it, feel free. Hit me up. I will happily have this conversation with you all over a phone call. But this is my world. I get to have an opinion. I get to voice what I'm feeling, my experience, because it's not the same as everyone else's, and no one's experience is always the same. And we have to be okay with that. But the next part is, what does love require of me in this moment? And let me say this to those who don't look like me. Do not feel guilty about posting about what's going on in your life. That is not what the black community wants from you. You can still post about your trip to Fiji. Still post the funniest meme that you came across. Still post about things that are going on in your world. That is perfectly fine. I would hate for you to not do that. Life still happens outside of racism. Life still goes on. But what we are asking is that you are aware of what's going on in the black community. That is our hearts. Be aware. Be conscious of it. But don't feel guilty that you can't post about life. Like, yo, we're still a part of your life. Like, I have some friends that, go on trips all the time. I still want to post about things. And if you want to, take me on that trip with you to Fiji. I'll happily go. But don't feel guilty about what's going on in the world and that you still have life to live in this moment. Don't feel guilt. Just be aware and be conscious of what is being experienced right now. That's all we ask. Well, that's all I ask.
All right, that was some good content. I think you said it really well.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah. And just we want to give 3 tips when going forward to have a conversation with someone who doesn't look like you.
Yeah.
Okay. And the first one is be open-minded. Their worldview, whoever you're talking to, their worldview has been completely different since the time they were born. So just be open-minded to what they may have to say.
Yep.
Second thing, listen. A lot of times we like to try to jump ahead, or in the moment we're trying to kind of think of questions to ask
Say
or challenge them. Hey, just listen to understand.
Yeah, don't listen to respond. Listen to understand.
And that's it. And the last one, as cliche as this may sound, our core values at Grace are grace, humility, and teamwork. Have exactly those things moving into these conversations. They're all needed. They're all needed because, grace comes into play easily. It's like, I don't know what you're going through, so like I'm gonna extend grace. So like your perspective may be different than mine.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna extend that grace.
Yeah.
Humility, just humble yourself.
I don't know everything.
I don't, and it's okay. And like, again, listen to understand. And then teamwork. We're all aimed at one goal.
We're on the same team.
The same team. We're trying to bring heaven to earth. We're trying to reach Christ and be on that same level. So, with that, 3 things, easy ways to have a conversation.
Yeah, for sure. And then finally, we wanted to give you some resources because we're still in quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
You still got some time to maybe read a book, watch a movie, and if you're gonna watch a book or
watch a book,
if you're gonna read a book or watch a movie, especially during this time, it's so important to do it in a way that informs you about what's going on in our country. And so we want to give you some resources. Huge shout out to Emily Wells who helped me put this list together. Some of the stuff, some of the stuff that's in here was recommended from her. But 2 things, as cliche as this sounds, there's 2 books in the Bible. The whole Bible is really great. But the book of Ephesians and the book of Galatians talk specifically about how to interact with people who are different from you. Back then it was a lot different. It was Jews and then Gentiles, and the Jewish people were asking questions about how can Gentile people be a part of the family of God. And Paul, who wrote those books, answers those questions. So the book of Ephesians and Galatians are great for that. There's a book that our church staff, a lot of us have read and that we recommend that helps you understand the... Sorry, go back.
I would keep going.
Okay.
There's gravity.
There's gravity. There's a book called The Color of Compromise that a lot of our church staff have read. I'm reading through it right now, and it just is it's a great history of how the church has really been on the wrong side of this for so long and how we can do better. So it brings great understanding. There's 2 movies that came out free to rent, Just Mercy and Selma, both great movies that kind of once again just bring perspective on this. And then we would recommend that you make sure you talk to your parents about this next one. It's a documentary called 13th on Netflix. It's got some language and some other stuff in it, so make sure your parents are cool with you watching it. But once again, brings great perspective on just what's going on and what's been going on in our country for so long, and how this really is still an issue that we need to talk about, and we need to shine the light of Jesus into this situation. So
absolutely,
that's it. Hey, don't kill each other as you go to small groups. Love each other, and let's keep moving forward to grace, humility, and teamwork. Love you guys.
Peace.